psychology facts and tricks by a real psychology student. So these tricks, they're going to help you in your everyday life. Some of them I'm sure you know already. Others you probably don't know. So listen up. Number 1. False attribution of arousal. This is a very popular one. If you want someone to like you when you're going on a date, or even just, you know, hanging out with friends, go do something that spikes your adrenaline, because you're actually getting aroused to the situation, but your brain will trick you into thinking it's because of that person. So it actually creates some type of bond. Number 2. I'm putting this at the front of the list because I think it's very important, but there's something called the bystander effect, very popular of course, and if you don't know what it is, it's basically, let's put it into an example. A little kid falls over in the street and it's crying and not getting up. Let's say there's like 100 people walking by, no one's stopping. Why is no one stopping? Because they're actually thinking, oh, someone else is gonna do it. But if there was just one person there, or 2 people, there is a way higher chance that that person is gonna go and help the kid. So if you want to reduce the bystander effect, what you do is you actually point out people. You can be like, hey, you in the green shirt, do this. And at the same time, if you know about the bystander effect, it actually reduces the chances of you participating in it. So you're more likely to go and help them if you're educated about it. And that's why I'm putting it there at the very beginning, because if there's a little kid on the road, bro, you better go and help her or him. Come on, be a good human. Number 3, body language is really important. Why? Not only for how other people are going to perceive you, but for yourself. It's going to dictate your emotions. At the same time, if you want to appear more confident, have good posture. You will appear more confident and you will actually feel more confident. So body language is very important. Number 4, I talked about this on my second channel on how to get people to like you, but say their name and remember their name. Always say their name, always remember their name. Your name is the most beautiful thing to yourself. Additionally, if you want someone to like you, mirror their body language. Not only will it make them feel comfortable, but they will like you more. When in doubt, stay silent. If you're arguing with someone, if you ask someone a question, they don't answer the way you like, they don't give you the information you want, hush hush, don't say a thing. They will keep talking. This is a hella popular one. I almost didn't put it in here because I thought it was too common, but some of you may not know it. Your brain thinks you're calm when you're eating, so if you feel anxious, chew a piece of gum. You'll feel a little less anxious. Don't overshare when you first meet someone. A lot of people overshare because they somehow think it's bonding you to them, because if you're oversharing, well, they obviously are gonna like you more because they know this deep part of me and I feel more connected to you now. You may feel more connected to that person because you're oversharing, but they're not gonna feel more connected to you when they first meet you. In fact, it actually does the opposite. It pushes people away from you. They actually get a little afraid of you subconsciously because they're like, oh, this person's like unloading all of this heavy stuff onto me. So don't overshare when you first meet someone. It's not going to bond you to them more. Don't always try to be perfect. People are going to like you more if you look humane, if you show that you're human, that you make mistakes, okay? People like people who make mistakes. If you make too many mistakes though, you look like a class and then people won't like you. So unfortunately, you need to make the perfect amount of mistakes, just not too many. Asking favors from people will make them like you more. It's a subconscious thing. And I'm not talking big favors like, hey, Donald Trump's dad, can you please loan me a small loan of $1 million? No, it's like, hey, Jordan, can you please pass the salt across the table? Hey, Jim, do you have a pencil I can use? It's like little things like that. This is very dangerous. Manipulators use this one, but if you want to manipulate someone, oh, my laptop's falling off my bed. If you want to manipulate someone, the best way to do it is to plant a seed in their mind and make them think that they came up with the idea themselves. And you know, this is different for every situation, but the way to do that is to kind of just drop like little hints of information. Not enough that you're telling them what to do or telling them what to think, but that it's enough for them to piece it together themselves, and then they will think they thought it. If you've let someone down, or if you are late, don't directly apologize for it. I mean, you know, in some situations you should be apologizing just to be a good human. But if you don't want them to think like less of you or get annoyed, you should try to stroke their ego a little bit. So you should be saying like, thank you for your patience, thank you for your understanding, as opposed to, I'm so sorry that like I didn't reply to you for so long, or I'm so sorry I did this to you. Just like, thank you for being so empathetic about my situation. And they're like, yeah, I'm like a hella empathetic person. So the primacy and recency effect is basically where we remember things that are first or last. This can be applied to learning new information. We're going to remember the things at the top of the list and things at the bottom of the list. And in the middle, we'll forget. It can also be applied to someone's day. We remember what we did first thing in the morning, last thing at night, but we don't really recall much during the day. So some people recommend that if you want to schedule a date and be memorable, then do it at the end of the day or at the front of the day in the morning. Giving people options. Here's the thing, boys, you know, you ask a girlfriend, where do you want to eat? What does she say? I don't know, it's not that simple. Don't do that. You know what you do? You give her options. Give her a few options. Don't give her a whole list of 10, because then that's going to be an information overload and a paradox of choice. Paradox of choice, you have too many options, you do not know what to do then. Here's something interesting. If we have a plan B, plan A is dramatically more likely to not succeed because we feel comfortable, and then we'll work less hard at achieving plan A, or even when you're giving advice to people. For people going through a breakup, you need to treat a breakup like an addiction, because it is an addiction. It's entirely psychological. It's a drug withdrawal. It's the same mechanism. When you're with a person, you're addicted to them, you're releasing dopamine, oxytocin. When you're taking a drug, you're also releasing that dopamine. So when you break up, you no longer have that person, right? You're going through a literal withdrawal, and that's why you're crying, you're throwing up, you can't eat, you can't sleep. It's a whole drug withdrawal, and that's why you need to treat it like a drug addiction. You can't be in contact with them. You need to cut off all fucking communication. You don't want to look at your photos. They need to be out of your life. You need to break that drug addiction. And you know what? It's hard, but it does get easier over time. People will rise to high expectations, and they will not rise to low expectations. In fact, they might fall for it. So if you want someone to perform well, you give them expectations. Children, when they're praised on their performance of a test, the children who were praised for studying well performed like better in life because they attributed their success to their performance. So when they were met with a poor performance later on, they didn't self-attribute it to their like lack of self-worth or just how they were as a person. Instead, they were like, oh, I could do better next time. Whilst the kids who were praised on natural ability, when they performed badly next time, they were like self-loathing. They were blaming it on themselves instead of saying, I can study better next time.